Blaster fire lit the horizon like angry stars being born and dying all at once. The battlefield stretched across the scar plain, a wasteland of burning vehicles, shattered fortifications, and the distant cries of soldiers too far gone to help. The acrid smell of plasma scorched the air, mixing with the metallic tang of blood. Sergeant Kael Renn ducked behind a crumbling barricade, his heart pounding like a war drum. He had seen battles before, too many, but this one felt different. The air seemed heavier, every breath a struggle against the chaos. Orders came through as calm, distorted by interference. Hold your position. Do not advance. He should have stayed put. He should have obeyed. But then he saw her. She couldn't have been more than 8 years old, tiny, frail, and completely out of place on a war-torn world. Her skin shimmered faintly under the smoke-filled sky, a pale lavender hue unique to the Illyri species. She stood frozen between two wrecked gunships, clutching something close to her chest, a small metallic sphere that blinked weakly with a dying light. Plasma bolts sizzled inches from her head, yet she didn't move. Either she didn't understand the danger, or she was simply too terrified to react. Kael's breath caught in his throat. Gods, she's just a kid. Every instinct screamed at him to stay down, to survive. But something deeper, something human, overrode the soldier's training. Without thinking, he vaulted the barricade. The moment he broke cover, the battlefield seemed to notice him. A rain of energy blasts tore up the ground at his feet. He ran in a zigzag, his pulse spiking with every near miss. The girl's eyes widened as he approached, pupils dilating in shock. She tried to back away, but her foot caught on debris, sending her sprawling. The sphere rolled from her hands. Kael slid to his knees, grabbing her before another shot could find her. Hey, I've got you, he shouted over the roar of battle, though he wasn't sure she understood his language. She trembled violently, clutching at his chest plate, tiny fingers scraping against the armor. A shadow loomed, an enemy soldier, massive and insectoid, its mandibles clicking in anticipation. Kael didn't hesitate. He swung his rifle up, fired point blank, and the alien dropped in a smoking heap. No time to breathe. More were coming. He scooped the girl into his arms, feeling how absurdly light she was. She weighed no more than a ration pack. Hold on to me, he said, bolting toward the nearest cover. But the cover was collapsing under bombardment, chunks of ferrocrete raining down. The calm in his ear crackled again. Renn, where the hell are you? Got a civilian, small, Illyri child, trapped in the kill zone. You're insane. That sector is a death trap. Get out. I'm trying. A missile exploded somewhere behind them, the shock wave slamming into Kael's back like a hammer. He staggered but didn't fall. The girl buried her face against his neck, and he could feel her ragged breathing against his skin. They reached the shell of a burnt-out transport, and Kael crouched low, trying to assess a safe path. His HUD mapped enemy positions, but there was no clear route. He'd have to run straight through an open stretch under sniper fire. Not good. Not good at all. The girl made a small, whimpering sound. He looked down and saw her staring at the metallic sphere, now lying on the ground beside them. Its blinking was slower, dying. She reached toward it, murmuring something in her language, her voice soft and musical even amid the chaos. Kael grabbed it, tucking it into his vest. We'll keep it safe, he promised. Then a sharp crack rang out, and the side of the transport exploded beside his head. Snipers had their range. No more waiting. He ran. Blasts chased him, each one hot enough to sear flesh if it caught him. His boots pounded the dirt, dodging craters and twisted metal. He could feel the girl's tiny heartbeat hammering against his chest, matching his own. A searing pain ripped across his arm as a bolt grazed him, but he didn't stop. He wouldn't stop. The forward trench was in sight, 20 meters, then 15. But the ground shook violently as a mech walker stomped into view, its twin cannons swiveling toward them. Kael's stomach dropped. He dove behind a collapsed barrier just as the cannons roared, shredding the earth where they'd stood. Pinned down. No options. He looked at the girl, who stared back with those wide, unblinking silver eyes. There was no fear now, just trust. Somehow, that hit harder than any weapon. He wasn't just carrying her anymore. He was carrying her belief that he could get them out alive. He tapped his comm. "I need covering fire, now." Static. Then a voice. "On your mark, Sergeant." Kael took a breath. Mark. The sky lit up as Allied artillery tore into the mech walker, staggering it. Kael seized a moment, bolting from cover and sprinting the last few meters. He dove into the trench as another explosion erupted behind him, showering them with dirt. Safe for now. The medics rushed over, pulling the girl from his arms. She clung to him desperately, and Kael had to pry her tiny fingers from his armor. "It's okay," he said softly. "You're safe now." She hesitated, then reached into his vest, taking back the metallic sphere. She pressed it to her chest, whispering something that might have been a prayer. One of the medics glanced at the sphere. "That's an Illyri memory core. It stores a recorded consciousness of their dead." She was protecting it. Kael blinked. Whose? Probably her parents'. The weight of it hit him like a punch. This little girl had been standing in the middle of hell, risking her life for the last piece of her family. And he had almost been too late. Hours later, the battlefield fell quiet. The girl sat beside him in the medic tent, still holding the sphere. She looked up at him and in halting, accented words said, "Thank you, human." Then she leaned forward and touched her forehead gently to his, an Illyri gesture of deep gratitude. Kael didn't know if he'd see her again. War had a way of scattering lives like leaves in a storm. But he knew one thing. When he had seen her out there, small and alone, something inside him had refused to let her be another name on the casualty list. He had risked everything, and for the first time in years, he didn't regret a damn thing.